following contest is scheduled for one fall. Coming down the aisle, the host of Shop Talk at Machine Gun, K.A. Carl Machine Gun Anderson. His tag team partner at Hazuka Rock, Rocky Romero. And their tag team partner, Luke Duck Gallo.
They're talking shit? Are they nuts?
I just want everybody to know that I just say welcome to Talking Shop. I had to get this thing started because we're sitting here. Carl Machine Gun Anderson here with my brother, Azuka Rocky Romero. We got
Luke Doc Gallows, but what do we have for you today?
Because there was too much good shop talking going on that I had to just hit the record button. I didn't mean to cut you off, good brother, but I had to just get it fucking started.
The good microphone.
I don't care. This is where it's at. What we got right here, sitting around the shop talk table, live in Tokyo, Japan, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't say his name yet.
Okay.
We gotta build him up. Yes. we gotta put some accolades.
Well, I was gonna tell Bob to just keep going. Oh, shit.
Anyway.
Well, it could be Bob Funk. Well, I don't know.
It's not Bob Saget, I'll tell you that. This guy's got more accolades than anybody in Japan, hell, anybody in America, all around the world. He's been everywhere. He's done everything. And we got to start quickly because we only have 30 minutes. We might get a volume 2 if he's going to be generous with us today. We got to get it in there. Rock, lay it down. Who's in front of you right now?
It's the one and the only, the Beast, Mr. Bob Sapp.
Arigato gozaimasu. And you finally said it right there, Bob. Bob the Beast Sapp.
We got Bob Sapp here. I said Bob. I just blew it.
And that's Bob the Beast Sapp.
There it is.
Court must have upped our budget because we got a fucking legit millionaire right in front of us right now.
It's like, well, multi. Let's keep it safe.
Oh, brother.
But nobody's counting IRS. Nobody's counting.
Bob's a cash business on the K-Fizz.
Bob, how you doing, good brother?
Yeah, I'm doing real great. I've recently, of course, I've only did one official retirement announcement, but of course that ended up going to big news. So I'm retired from fighting, MMA fighting.
Yeah.
There has been some confusion because I recently went to North Korea for pro wrestling. So yes. I continue to pro wrestle.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So you retired from fighting.
From fighting. Now that means kickboxing and mixed martial arts. Now, did that mean I'm retiring from fighting as far as pro wrestling? No. Is pro wrestling real? We say no, but pro wrestling is real. Dangerous. That's how we define it as. That's what we say it is.
Damn right about that.
Yeah.
In Gallo's words, if a damn payday comes up, you got to take it.
You got to take it.
That's right.
You can unretire like that.
Yes. And the most important thing to remember, so I get a tremendous amount of questions that many people ask me. They say, well, Bob, you've made all this money, so why are you still pro wrestling? And I ask them, do I look like the owner of Facebook? Do I look like Bill Gates? Right. They've all made more money than me, and they still are working. Hello. Right. Wake the heck up, y'all. Stop being stupid. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just making money, okay? Right. So let's go ahead and keep it as it is. Let's keep it real. I'm just making money. Do I need to do it? No. Do they need to do it? No. I just happen to have a great time. Right. So if you ask me how am I would say I am lucky yesterday, blessed today, and loving it now.
That's beautiful.
That's great.
That's like what I remember. I was taking the bus one time from the Tokyo Dome show. The next day we were going to Narita, and Abdullah the Butcher was on the bus.
Yep.
And he
I love to say that that's my father. That's what I love to say.
He's a nice brother.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
But he goes, they told me, they asked me when I'm going to retire. I said, why the fuck? At first he said, why the fuck? And I lost it. Why the fuck would I retire if they keep paying me?
Right.
And I go, well, you're right. He goes, I'm not going to retire then.
Exactly.
Hello, Abby.
Yes. If you got work, and you enjoy it, you want to do it, why would you stop?
And here's the thing.
Right. We got to mention about Abdullah. He's got one of the best restaurants, right? In Atlanta.
He's got a great rib shack. We just put out a wonderful song about Abdullah on a past broadcast that we found on the internet. We didn't compose it here. Of course we didn't. We never would do something like that. Much love and respect to Abby. Yeah. But Bob, a guy like you, as driven as you are, all the things you've done, what in the fuck would you do if you went home? You'd be bored off your ass. You can't not do. You're a doer, right?
That's right. Absolutely so. None of that human being I'm actually a human doer. That's right. So that's right. So I just don't just be. I just actually do. So definitely, but when I do go home, I do love to just spend time with my dogs and cats and just kind of walking them around. I've got a really big dog named Simba, and he is roughly about 205 pounds.
Simba, great name. What is it?
No, he's Turkish Kangal and South African Borbal mixed.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Where's home, good brother?
Seattle, Washington.
Oh,
Yes.
snap.
Nice.
Huh?
Nice.
Can you tell us? I think one of the things that we're most excited about was I want to hear about the New Year's was the big show he did with Akibono, right?
In 2006,
Yes.
is that the kickboxing one, or we've done many shows?
Well, let's-
Akibono and myself.
Let's what you think is the biggest one.
You guys have drawn a lot of money together.
Yes, yes,
And a
yes,
lot
yes,
of
and all-
fucking
yes,
people,
absolutely
and a
love
lot
it.
of fucking ratings.
That's right.
That's it.
Let's
Bob,
hear-
this is Box Office Bob here, who cracked the numbers.
box office hoot has arrived.
Box
We're all
office.
hoots here, Bob. We all call each
Yeah,
other.
we have it.
Yeah, we have
We're Box Office hoot.
In 2006, I fought Akibono, and that generated what we would say is 80% of the population of Japan tuned in.
That's right. That's
So that
That's
is
the one.
over 54 million people. So that is the world record for kickboxing and or MMA, because they kind of combine the two.
Right.
They call it fighting or combat sports.
Right.
I call it combat sports entertainment, but either one, it has over 54 million viewers tuned in. Now, if you need to compare that to something, in the year 2010, your American Idol finale had 25 million viewers. That's right. We had 54 million.
than
That's right.
double.
That's
More
right.
than double.
And is that just Japan?
That's just Japan, so that's no word counting like what. Yeah, there's no
What
word
does that
counting
equal?
like what it did around
Right.
the world now since then, and how many people have seen it since then, and word of mouth.
Is that
blah, blah, blah,
live
blah, blah.
TV prime?
That's
time?
right, prime time.
TV?
So that gave me this country, which is this great country, Japan. That gave me this country's record. So we are now the #1 rated program ever in the history of this country. So I am #1 in this country as far as the television most watched, viewed television show ever
Okay.
in the history
So,
of this
I
country.
would never stop booking you to do things. You would wrestle for me until you were absolutely fucking refused.
Of course. we got former IWGP champion here too.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
right.
and before all the IWGP championship matches, it's just all the champions, and Bob always comes right out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother Sapsky.
Yes, and I think I held that belt for like a good 1 week.
Who
I
cares?
lost
You're there.
it.
It doesn't matter. You're in the lineage now.
That's right, and and here's
You're
the
there,
thing.
box office.
That's right, and so with that, I am also the first foreigner to become the MVP for wrestling. So I beat out Hulk Hogan and The Rock and all of those. So that's why that's most. Yeah, so that's the most important. So what they did, they gave me a big, giant, solid jade trophy. I see, where we're enjoying here. So it's roughly about the same size as a wine bottle. They gave me a solid jade trophy.
That's
so
awesome.
it's
So cool.
absolutely amazing.
That's
It's really,
badass.
really
So,
beautiful.
Bob, you played in the NFL.
Yes.
And
Number 69, best
number
position
69,
overall.
Best,
Of
best
course.
draft pick.
You have it.
So this is we talk shit on this podcast, but we're wrestlers and we talk about wrestling. We got a wrestling fan base, a growing fan base. What happened? You leave the NFL, and do you just decide, hey, I want to be a pro wrestler? Or I know somebody had to look at you and go, my God, we got to get you into this. How did
That's
that come
right.
about?
So what happened as I was, I was playing in the NFL. So I was with the Minnesota Vikings. So I played a position that many people have never heard of. That's called ass back. That meant I ran on the field, and coach would say, "Bob, bring your ass back." So
Sounds like me in college.
Back hoot has arrived.
So yeah, it was definitely, But however, let me tell you. So a guy by the name of what's his name?
Jody Hamilton?
No. The governor then
Jesse?
of Minnesota, that's right, Jesse the Body Ventura, saw me and said, "Hey, I have no idea about that Bob Sapp guy, but he looks like a pro wrestler to me." Just from him saying this, I have no idea if it's just from him saying this, but I was released, and then I was coached by Ken Patera.
Oh, okay.
So he brought me in and
Where-
said, "Okay,
where did this go down?"
This was when I ended up getting injured with the Baltimore Ravens. Brian Billick from the Minnesota Vikings took me over to the Baltimore Ravens. I got injured, and then went to the Raiders. I was already too injured, and then it was boom, out on the streets.
So where are you living when Patera starts training?
So I was actually in, well, then all the money that I'd saved, because I was a 69 draft pick, all the money that I'd saved, I did some bad financial
Bob's
moves.
already pimping.
You know,
what age is this? 20, you know what I mean?
You know,
I'm just blown away right now. As Rock fills up, Brother Sapp's Jack and Ginger.
yes,
This is
I mean, just a little bit because
is a
I have a
drinking
little bit. Too much. Osaka always say I cannot drink too much because I have a allergy of alcohol, so it makes me hiccup. So if you start hearing me hiccup, that's what's going on. But
Bob, we belch, we fart, your hiccups won't offend anybody. Don't worry about it.
So as I did these bad financial moves, so I ended up went from millionaire to zillionaire real quick. So I was then homeless, lost everything. So I was actually living in my truck, and one of my friends there, who was, I think he was a janitor, said, you know, hey Bob, you know, I have some frequent flyer miles, you can come over. Mike Morris, who was at the Minnesota Vikings, said, listen, Jesse the Body Ventura said you really can make it in professional wrestling and that you just are outside of where you should be. But what you look like in your big mouth and everything that you've got, you can go to professional wrestling. And so what ended up happening was I said, well, you know, I'm homeless and I'm doing these freaking bouncing gigs right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I may as well just come on down and do that. Ken Ken Patera, he went through and Ken Patera went through and he actually, you know, coached me a little bit. And then when he said, Bob, you know, you're growing so much within the realms of my coaching, you're outside of my ability. So we then made a video. That video went to WWE, which was then WWF, and WCW. And then Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful, saw this video, and he sent me down to the power plant.
He's in charge of the power plant. What year is
Yes,
this,
he went down to the power. So I believe that this was around the year 2000 or 2000 and maybe 2000, about the year 2000.
2001.
2000, I was going to say.
I was 20 years old then.
About 1999, 2000. It's a little difficult because, you know, football goes by seasons, and I often go by years, so it just can get a little bit confusing sometimes. Right. However, I spent roughly about 2 years down there. So, but when I came into the power plant, this was then they were making us all. Now, everyone knows about, you know, the famous card workout, which is where you have to do all these body squats and push-ups. And you do a deck of cards, or we just do it here basically till you drop. So they did that here. So I was in the power plant, and they gather everyone around, and they say, let's get these guys, these new recruits. We're going to see who has the mind for it, and we're going to start to do body squats. So we started doing body squats. And roughly, I say about 50, but probably my legs was gone at about 25 reps, let me tell you. So you know, here I am at about like 390 pounds, and I'm sitting here doing this. Body squats.
God, you're huge.
You know, I'm doing these body squats.
190 pounds.
And they keep going. And we're at 100, and they keep going. Then we're at 300, they keep going. And then I said, okay, well, I need to grab onto the wall.
Yeah.
I said, no problem. Grab onto the wall. We're going to keep going. So they keep going. Now, remember, this is a brand new place. I have no idea. Yeah. Then I started feeling kind of sick. So I said, okay, I think I'm going to throw up. So I held my mouth, and I started to vomit. I'm looking around for the toilet because I have no idea where it is. I'm looking around, and vomit is dripping out between my mouth and my hand onto the floor. And I'm looking, and I have no idea where it is. And then Bruce, he says, it's over there. And he just points, and I see it. But by then, I had already ran in a circle. So this vomit had made a vomit circle. I stepped in my own vomit, slipped completely back, took a back bump, bam, hands flew out, vomit erupted from my mouth like a volcano. Roar! All on the floor in front of everybody. Now everybody's like, ooh, ooh, and they're laughing and clapping and cracking up, right? So I said, oh man. So I said, all right.
He vomited on his property.
Yeah, so I walked up, you know, and the Sarge was just cracking up, man, and these guys are laughing. So I said, no problem. So I went back up there. I took a shower, and they had somebody's locker room over there, somebody's locker, I should say. I took, his T-shirt out. I took his pants out. Yeah. Took a shower, came back down, and I said, "Okay, so let's keep going." And they said, "What? You know, gonna quit? You know?" I said, "No, let's keep going." He said, "Well, why is that?" I said, "Because it's funny for all of you guys in here, but see, nobody knows what happened outside. And you can tell them, but none of you guys know my friends. None of you guys know anything or where I'm at. So you can say whatever you want, and I'm going to deny every bit of it, buddy. So let's keep going." And
until now.
Yes, that's right. And Paul Orndorff saw this.
You won the road.
He said, "That's right." He said, "That guy is hired." And, you know,
He's the Mansky.
Yeah, I mean, and that was really, really great. I did have to go into the office, and they went through, and they really coached me big time. Yeah. And they took me through a bunch of acting classes. They took me through what to say, how to work the audience, how to work the crowd. And they sat me down, and they did say, and I believe Terry Taylor was there as well, and they sat me down, and they said, you know, "Look, you're going to be big, you're going to be famous, and we're going to coach you exactly how to do this. However, you're going to get this notebook here, and you're going to shut up because you have no idea what's going to happen or what's going on." Yeah. And then they had Bill Goldberg call me. They had Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash was cool. Kevin Nash started giving me all his clothes and shit. Okay, yeah.
What a good brother. Kevin Nash had to put Bob over down the line.
Yeah,
of course.
What was that? That's how the clip does it. He was so, I mean, it was so funny. So Kevin Nash is giving me all these clothes and stuff, and all these, and so I was like, "This is great," because, you know, by then I was like, "Man, you know, I have no money." So
because
really,
at this time you're still basically living in your car.
Then I was living in a hotel, and here's what they said. They said, "In order for you to come here, we know you're going to come here." And I said, "Well, how do you know it?" They said, "We know you're getting recruited by WWF as well." And I said, "Well, how do you know I'm going to come here?" And they said, "Because we're going to give you 90 days rental car, 90 days hotel." And then they gave me something like, at that time, it was like $3,000 a week, and that's every 7 days. Plus, for a house show or working out, it's like $500 US on top of that, and we would do 4 or 5 house shows a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going from having
that's right. And I said, "You're right. I am coming here on that, man. You're right on that, man.
Sign it."
Yes, I was no going anywhere, and so it was really, really, really awesome. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So they coached me and went all the way through all of that great stuff, which is so great. And then by the time it got ready to be, they came through and we do these little shows, and that's where I met what's that guy that now was at TNA, but TNA now he's coming over here, that does all the flips and stuff.
Alex Shelley?
No.
Flips?
Fuck, I don't know.
He was in Atlanta, Georgia with me, and he went to the
Power plant?
No, he was known to Power Plant, but
AJ
that's it. Thank you very much.
He's the IWGP heavyweight champion.
You went to NWA Wildside in Georgia.
That's right.
AJ does all the flips and stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's in our group, the Bullet Club. He's the IWGP champion.
Heavyweight champion now.
Okay, yeah.
You guys are in the same company.
So that's right. So we were so you
phenomenal.
Can look back and you can look back and see us youngsters in the ring doing all of this stuff.
Great.
And I mean, it was so funny because I can remember when I had to run into the ring and they were pushing me and my butt got caught underneath the last rope, and it was so funny. They were just like, "Come on, Bob, man, we hung up, man. You either got to stop doing squats or stop eating burgers." One of the two. Because by that time, I bloomed up to like something like 410 or something. I was a pretty big boy.
Bob was one of the biggest people you ever see in person. Like, you know, you've seen The Big Show, you've seen Khali, but when you look at Bob when he was in this state of his prime, in the movie and stuff, you've never seen a bigger, like more muscular with big hands, and he could kill you. He could slap you and fucking kill you.
My
size
first
18 and 19 shoes, so definitely big speed.
My first maybe 2 months in wrestling, I was making a run in front of about 50 people with a fucking steel chair. And I was a slide on the rope and hit somebody with it.
All these are great.
I went to slide on the rope, the chair hit the rope and hit me right in the face. And my fucking skinny bird nose went and just started fucking gushing. And all 50 people in the place just fucking lost it, laughing at me.
That happened to me at WWE Tough Enough. Johnny Ace, all the WWE official people were there. They said, "Drew, hit the ropes." I've never been in a ring bigger than 16 feet before. So I take off. I take my 2 big horse steps. I go to turn to hit the ropes. There's no fucking rope there. It's a 20 by 20 ring. I go head first between the top and the second and fucking face plant into the sand.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That one? That's tough enough?
That's an outtake on the Tough Enough.
Oh my goodness.
It's me diving through the fucking ropes.
Oh, hoot.
Yeah, then
That's good.
I want to hear more of Bob's story. I can't be talking, but then at the end they make us we're doing this push-up thing at the end of an obstacle course. Well, the shorts I had on the drawstring broke, and they got us shirtless. So I have to army crawl under this thing. It's 6 inches from the ground. I'm army crawling. My shorts are coming down. My fucking little pecker's out in the sand. Go to bus says, don't you pull your shorts up. You keep going. So I'm not allowed to pull my shorts up. So I get out from under the thing, and then you got to do 20 or 25 push-ups as you finish.
Right.
I'm pants around my ankles. Fucking, I'm sweating like hell. I'm blowing. My penis looks to be about a fucking inch and a half long.
It's
And I
really
gotta-
an inch and 3/4.
yeah, it's really an inch. Yeah, it's 5/8. So I got to do the push-ups, and my little fucking bird pecker is going into the sand, and I'm getting sand in my pee hole. And that was the finish of me on Tough Enough. Anyway, back to
Basically,
the
the sand tortured your cock this time.
yeah, it wasn't my hand; it was the sand.
Right. Yes. That reminds me of the same story like when they made this Bob Sapp sex toy here in Japan.
Of course they did.
Yes!
So,
They had to.
It was a bestseller for 2 years.
Box office done.
Yes, and let me tell you something.
Actual simulation,
and
too.
They went and asked this question. They said, "Listen, is that really your your penis? Is that really your?
You can say cock on this.
Is that really your wee wee? You know what I mean? So I'm like, and so I'm like, getting ready to answer, and then my trainer stands up and says, "No, that's nowhere close to him. He is hung like a light switch." And he says that in front of everybody. Yes, and everybody falls out laughing in the media. They crack up,
All in
and it
Japanese?
was great. Yes, and I just let them have it. But it was the best thing ever. Yeah, it was awesome, man. I was just cracking
Everybody
up.
knows
then, of
Beast
course-
Bob Sapp, that's not true.
That's right.
Then, of course, Bob said, "Yeah, you think it's funny now?" He whipped that fucker out. And it wasn't funny anymore.
Trainer didn't want that to happen. Fuck, where were we? We're at the power
Oh,
plant.
the power plant. What happened after the power plant? Did you ever debut in WCW?
So what happened? I did end up making by the time. Well, they all got together and they said, "Listen, you are really ready for your television debut. You're ready for your television contract." And I said, "Okay."
What year is this?
Ready for a television contract?
2000.
Maybe it's 2000, I think, or roughly 2001. Within this
Something
era
in
of
there.
this same
Gotcha.
year, like I said, because seasons it kind of messes up. So it's 2000 and maybe 9 months into the 2000, or whatever. But it's definitely within this time of. One day I came in, they told me I'm on a TV contract. The next day I came in, and there was everybody in there. There was like 4,000 people in the power plant. And I'm getting kind of nervous. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking of the speech. Like, okay, you guys gave me, I'm getting kind of choked up. You guys gave me this chance. I come back from being homeless.
Yeah.
You guys give me this chance. And all these people are here. I'm going to take whatever contract they offer. Make them number one. Let's do it. So I'm kind of choked up. I'm like, man, what's this speech? Everyone's here. So this lady gets in the ring, and I'm like, okay, get ready to speech. This lady gets in the ring. She says, boop, boop, "Is this mic on?" It's like, okay. For those of you guys who have no idea, we've just went bankrupt,
What the fuck?
and security will be escorting you guys out. Those of you guys have been up with us for 2 years, there's some 1 week's compensation or something. It was a total corporate layoff, total massive layoff, everyone at the same time off. I thought it was a joke until I turned around and I started to see real wrestlers and other people, executives, start to crying. They were physically crying. Okay, so then I was like, this is no joke, Bob. And I was just like, is this again? I mean, I was like, oh man, they're like, hey, Bob, you want to get your stuff? And I was like, nah, man, y'all can just have it, So I just left, and we went out and ate at Chick-fil-A, I'm sorry, no, we went countrywide or countryside or whatever. They're now bankrupt as well, right? So they're gone too. So, but yeah, they were.
Man, how heartbreaking that was.
Yeah, so that was big time. So then I was just like, wow, and it was right before. So the last thing that they said, Bob, we can record. We've got a few more days left. What we can do is you got this tough man boxing thing from Steve Edman who called over and Fox called over about you. We can put you on Monday Nitro. We'll talk about this, your tough man show, and you can kind of do your wrestling gimmick on there, and that's all you can do. And that's all we can really do to help you out, you know. Right. And I said, well, okay, well, I'll take it. So I went and did that. That's when they came up with the nickname The Beast. It was on that Fox Tough Man show when I fought William the Refrigerator Perry, because I was first drafted by the Chicago Bears. And, you know, it was amazing because I ended up beating my whole idol. That's why I wear 72 is because of William Refrigerator Perry. Then I'm in the ring beating up my dream item from when I was in high school and college, and I'm knocking him out and punching him. And so it was a total trip, and it was like a dream and a nightmare come true, right? Because I went from high school to NFL, nightmare, then WCW. Then I was like a dream come true, then back to nightmare, and then here I am in the ring fighting my idol, which was a dream. Then it was a nightmare at the same time, and I'm punching him. What the heck is going on? So it's completely surreal life, right? Completely. Little did I know my life would get even more surreal. Okay, so which is
just getting started here,
right? So
I remember we did a Tokyo Dome like press conference maybe. I think it was the last dome that you did with us a couple years ago.
Yes.
And the New Japan bus pulled up to where we were going, and people always turn and look at the bus because the bus is cool, right? And they kind of looked at the bus. That's great. And then Brother Bob got off, and I remember watching somebody go like this. And then everybody on the street
They
turned,
tripped and fell.
and they
Is
saw
that what happened?
they tripped and fell. They saw Brother Bob getting off the bus. That's Bob Sapp.
We haven't touched on what Bob is here yet.
I know Bob is insane. That was
that's
kind of where I was leading.
We
to.
got 3.5 minutes. If Bob is down for another half hour for volume 2, I think we got to tell the rest of this incredible story.
This is only part 1 of Bob's Ski.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's no matter what, everything now. It's everything that I've done has definitely been 1 in a million, and so it's really no longer does. Put it like this: my lawyer says, Bob, I will never ever feel sorry for you because, and I just said, why is that? He says, because you can never ever, and he said, you can never F it up, which is fuck it up. He said, you can never F it up even if you tried. Right. He said, because there is no way. He says, because the stuff that you've done, and he is correct. If you look at all of the things that have gone on,
you got more accolades.
there is nothing else. Every time when I'm messing up, I'm hitting number 1 on everything that I'm touching, every time when I'm bouncing around. So that's why he says, I will never, ever feel sorry for you on ever. Because he says, man, you lose everything today, and tomorrow you walk across the street and you win the lottery, man. And then right from that winning the lottery, you'll turn right back around and win it again. You know, he says, you know, I mean, it is really, truly a very, very surreal life. It's pretty much like, you know, on the road, we spend a lot of the time by ourselves. We spend a lot of time in the hotel room. Okay, so sometimes you get a little lonely. It's you and that computer, you know, and that and either the
xvideos.com.
That's right. It's either the XXX videos or it's going to be some of the nude photos you get from your girl, right? So it's one of the two that's going to be happening.
Right.
Or both.
You know, that's right.
You pull the pictures up and look
so
at the video.
as I was looking at one of these girls in the video one time, I said, oh, this girl is great. I started over here, you know, excited, you know. I said, man, I think I need to go out to the nightclub, man. I'm a little bit too excited. So I go out to the nightclub.
Is this in Japan?
No. This was when I was in Italy.
I feel like I know where this is going. I can't wait.
He's all over the world. He doesn't know where he is.
Okay.
This one's in Italy.
Okay, so do we have to do the applause?
Are you good? No, you're
Not yet. We got a minute and a half.
So I go to the nightclub and they're doing a show with the same girl right there, and she comes and meets me, and I'm better. But no, we never got to go mess around. But I did meet her, and I was cracking up because I was like, dude, you was just on the movie. And you're in the nightclub, and they're doing the photo shoot, and they're signing the magazines, and you're what?
I saw you in the magazines.
You
insane.
And it was so. And then she's like, "Give me the magazine." I'm like, "Dude, this is the reason why you was just out at the out with the And so that was. I mean, that was another really.
What he didn't say was she went, "And you're Bob fucking Sapp."
Yeah, that's how I got to meet her. So that was so weird.
So Bob, was this here or American? No, that was Italy.
Yes, that was,
Guys, we gotta wrap it up. Let's plug our social media.
That was Italy.
Let's go. And then on this next episode, I want to go to how Bob got to Japan because I'm dying to hear the
too.
story. Okay, follow me on Twitter since I'll be first at Impact Doc. Buy my t-shirts, prowrestlingtees.com/BigLG.
Oh, for crying out loud! I hate what he does.
I'm gonna do it every time.
At Machine Gun KA, listen, my 2-year-old broke my TV. Can you guys fucking send me some money here? Pro Wrestling Tees /Machine Gun KA, or maybe Brother Bob can give brother some fun here. Millionaire Hoots here.
Hey, listen, I will definitely show you how to get that TV. That's right. Hey,
That's gonna be part 2.
We're gonna tell a TV story on the next episode. Just hold on.
Azuka Rock, AZUCARROC. Follow me on Twitter, Rocky Romero.
Bob, you on Twitter, good brother?
You know, they have Bob on Twitter, but, you know, you can always just look up Bob the Beast Sapp. And, you know, on Twitter, I never really charge too many of my followers. Sometimes I'll respond a little bit. Many of them, when I talk about life and some of the economic and being debt free, all of this kind of stuff. But, you know, so it's nowhere close to the, hey, let's fight and beat them up and that kind of stuff. No, it's just kind of like what we do here, just blabbing and goofing around and all that stuff. And then when it's work, we get to work and do it all the way through. You know what I mean? So,
basically, Google Brother Bob.
Yes,
Sapp.
Google.
Right?
Bob doesn't need a Twitter. Bob does not need a Twitter.
Basically, what he's saying is,
300 followers or something on my Twitter. And some people are like, is this really him? Because he's got like so less followers. But the fake Bob Sapps, just like on Facebook, they have so many. I want to know how they even do it.
They're making a living.
Yeah, right.
hey guys, thank you for tuning in. Part one for sure of the Beast, Bob the Beast Sapp.
Crack a beer, take off your pants, enjoy Talking Shop. We're coming back with more Bob Sapp. I'm having a time of my life right now.
Thanks for listening, brothers. See you next week.